Hello, my name is Pat Nevin and I want to give you my best 11 players I've played with in my career. I've no idea what kind of system I'm going to play with, but they're all going to be very attack-minded players. In goals, it was actually quite a tough one. I did play with Andy Gorham in my time at Motherwell, and he used to do stuff at training which was ridiculous, but Neville Southall was the best goalkeeper in the world for a good period of time while I was at Everton, so it's got to be Big Nev, and you couldn't score past him now, but that's more to do with the weight. Right back, I'm going to have to go with Stevie Clarke. Very, very, very underrated player. He played a few times for Scotland, not enough, but he could play him right back, left back, centre midfield, do the same job for you, and by the way, he's doing a great job these days. Centre backs, I'm going to put in there Richard Gough. Playing with a lot of players through my life, you know, when you're around a world-class player, and Goughy was world-class, absolutely phenomenal player. So he'd go in any team, and another player could play in a bunch of positions. Looking at the other centre-backs, it's kind of a tough one. Period of time that I played with Chelsea was a guy called Colin, who was our skipper. Again, not a very well-known player, ended up playing for Arsenal for a period of time, but a player, if you put him in a team now, in the Premier League, he'd be better now than he was then. That type of player. Left back, problem with left backs, because I don't like them obviously, because I played against too many of them in my career. There's a guy called Tony Dorigo I played with at Chelsea. He was England full back, around the same time as Graham Lasso as well. But Tony I rated because he was hard to get past, because he was kind of my height, and in training I always deliberately played against him because he was so hard to get by. I like to play with good players, and he was a top player. Right, the midfield's going to be absolutely packed. This is a Man City midfield. Peter Beardsley, played with him for a period of time at Everton, and again, playing today, he would be one of the main players at Man City. He would be, you know, one of the Silvers or a De Bruyne, or you know, he would just fit in perfectly. He kind of written out history a wee bit just now. We'll talk about Shearer, etc. Has been the big players then. Beardsley was different skill. Also played with two other players who I'm going to just put in together here because I just love playing with them. And McStay and JC, John Collins. Again, I played with Scotland with them, but they were absolutely brilliant players who I'd love to have played more with. And again, two players, once again, quite easily, walking into the modern game, no problem whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic players. There's another player I kind of need to put in. I need to put in Norman Whiteside. Needs a wee bit of strength in there, but he was more than that. He had absolutely everything. And with Norman Whiteside, had he not got the injuries he did get at a very young age, he would have been one of the best players of these islands, and certainly of his generation. I played with him for 2 years, never seen him give a ball away once in a game or training. Astonishing player. And he was playing in one leg. It's an amazing player. So I'm trying to think of how many players I've got there. I think I've probably got 2 left, because you can't go without Kenny. Kenny was, you know, a player I watched when I was growing up. Celtic, I was fortunate to play with him when I was with Scotland. Not very often, but you can't have played with Kenny Dalglish and not say Kenny Dalglish. So Kenny Dalglish. And if I have got another one left, which I kind of might have, I need a scorer. And I played with one guy who was one of the best scorers you'll ever see, a guy called John Aldridge. And John Aldridge is not held in the same esteem as people like Ian Rush and others. Have a look at his goal scoring record. I worked with him a lot. And if you played in the same team as people like Coisty and Mojo and all them, Kerry Dixon, and I'm putting Aldo above him, all of them as a goal scorer. He was just extraordinary at scoring goals. Don't know about the rest of his game, but scoring goals, God, he's fantastic. I recently went to see the first game by Diogo playing for Celtic, and I thought, that's it. I've not seen that since Aldo. So fabulous, fabulous player. And I've managed to get all the way through without mentioning Brian McClare, just to annoy him.